Welcome to Soul Brew, where healing conversations flow as freely as the tea. Join us as we dive deep into the depths of the human experience, one sip at a time. Grab your favorite mug, settle into a cozy spot, and chime in on a conversation that will nourish your soul. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Soul Brew, Healing Conversations Over Tea. I am Rae, your host today. And today we have my friend Meli. She is a dream alchemist and tech strategist for entrepreneurs. And we are going to just have a conversation about our healing journeys and the things that have come up along this journey. Everybody knows it is quite the journey when you start this. So yeah, welcome, Meli. How are you today?
Hi, Rae. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm doing great. How about you?
Good, good. Yeah, I'm so happy that we were able to have this conversation. Oh, did you bring your tea or something?
I
Yes.
did with my new favorite mug.
Mm,
Oh, I love
actually,
yours.
I have one like that with an R, so
Yeah, oh, perfect.
but yeah, this one, my friend, she brought me back from her trip to Jamaica, so I
I love the
am drinking
colors.
actually iced tea today, so it's actually cold in here.
Mm. Oh, yummy. Mine is a
Yeah.
warm elderberry. Yeah, a calming one.
Yeah. So I'm so happy you're here. You do dream alchemy and you've like paired this with bringing like tech strategies for entrepreneurs. So can you start just by like telling us a little bit about that and what you do for your clients?
Yeah, of course. So I come from a background in engineering. That's what I've been doing for like 6 years after college. And in my own healing journey, that's where I found dream interpretation. And I was really seeing how it was highlighting the anxieties that I was dealing with. And, I started working with other teachers and mentors and students in training. And that's where the idea to bridge the two came in because subconsciously, business owners, as well as myself, like I still deal with these limiting beliefs, but my dreams are showing me exactly what that story is. So I help them release that limiting block because if you don't work with that subconscious container, then you're not going to be able to like continue growing in your business.
Mm-hmm.
And then the tech strategy part comes because we can't just be all like in the feminine and just kind of going with the flow. We need to have some structure behind it, but that structure can be running in the background while you show up in your most authentic way. And that's what I help my clients do, really bridge the two using the chakra system, dream interpretation, and the tech strategy.
Yeah. I mean, I know we just talked about this earlier, but I really see the value in the tech strategy because I know I'm like a all or nothing. It's kind of like either it's super strategy, corporate, like using wanting to use that brain. But I know like my femininity just wants to reject that so much. So what happens to me is that then I just reject it completely and then there's no tech and no strategy and none of it. So I love that you're bringing something in the middle. You're creating something in the middle of that. So and do you use the dreams for that? Like do you use or is that like almost like two separate things?
No, it's part of my what I call funnel chakras framework, where
Okay.
we first integrate the chakra system into your business strategy because it needs to feel right to you, not just what another mentor told you. And then we see our limiting beliefs, we identify those blocks in dreams, and then implement the simple tech. And I've done tech for a lot of different companies, multi-million companies, and people just starting out. So I found the ones that are just exactly what you need. You don't need like 40 different ones pieced together and like trying to communicate with each other. I try to keep it as simple as possible so that it runs smoothly in the background.
Yeah.
So this is the framework and I put it all together because you can't have one without the other,
Yeah.
in my opinion. The dream
Yeah.
part is like the human container that helps you actually show up for your business.
It's like truly that feminine approach as we were talking about, that more feminine with like that with the masculine also. So it's being able to bring those two things together and acknowledge that they're both important. Especially
Exactly.
because I feel like that probably has a lot to do with your intuition and tapping into what your intuition is saying and not just what the world is saying.
Exactly. You need to kind of, it's a lot of external noise I'm finding. And just recently, like I've just been so exhausted with social media, although like I love creating there, but I do see like different techniques and different strategies that work for people and they're amazing. We just need to learn how to kind of tune in that frequency to what we want and what's going to help us really shine and become magnetic so that other people can find us and be able to help
Yeah.
in the best way that we know how. So we need to have that balance. But once you have the structure and the tech piece aligned, then you get to show up. Most of your work is to show up in your most authentic way, right? So
Yeah.
that's, I feel like, what we want, right? As yoga teachers, wellness professionals, hypnotherapists, being able to, just create in the way that we want, knowing that your business is being held in the background.
Yeah. I get it. It's almost like creating that safe container to be
Hmm.
flowy and free, to just be your
Yes,
authentic
exactly.
self. But like set up that container first, set up like your like what you said, your funnels and all the structure of like the business, and then
Mhm.
be free and dance in it.
Ex- Exactly. And yeah, I like tweaking it from time to time. I mean, I didn't start like this. I started really messy. I had no idea, no business background. I did have the tech, the engineering background, and tech was pretty much easy for me to figure out because of that background. Yet there was so many platforms out there that I wasted so much money just going back and forth and which one's the best. And now this is broken. And it was a nightmare. So I could just imagine somebody who's not used to tech, it becomes even more overwhelming and it stops people from actually showing up online, which is
Oh
sad
yeah.
because we all have beautiful messages to share.
Oh yeah. I did a call with someone the other day and it took us a couple days to get on the call because there was always like an error or something came up and then I'm just talking about tech in itself. And at the end of the day, we finally got on the call and we were like, we are not an expert in tech. Like I have no idea what happened or why we couldn't do it. We're so spiritual that we were like, it just wasn't meant to be. So, but I'm sure there was like a technical reason as to what was going on, and we could have figured it out differently had we known the platform a little bit better. But I think this is a good example
Yeah.
of like those two worlds coming together and seeing the value of it as well. Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of people get discouraged, although I still firmly believe in Mercury retrograde.
Yeah.
I've been in companies before, like big companies where, I was managing the whole tech team and I'm like, okay, it's Mercury retrograde. Let's like make sure we have everything like all hands on deck. And some people would be like, okay, that's not a thing. But I'm like, okay, you just wait until you have more tech issues and come to me.
Exactly. We'll see where the stars were every time you call. So,
Exactly. Here's my call log.
yay. So, okay, tell me a little bit about, or all of us, a little about what got you here to the space. Because I know for your story is that you were an engineer and then anxiety came over you. So there's been a journey to you being able to sit here, know that you are able to handle your anxieties and things that come up. So, tell me a little bit about your journey and what got you here.
Yes, of course. So, yes, my background is in electrical engineering with a specialty in computers. And I have always dealt with social anxiety. Like I would just notice it would just peak up when I would go, out in places I didn't know. I just felt like it was normal. But all of a sudden, and I, for those listening that are into astrology, during exactly my Saturn return, like a year right before it, I started developing daily panic attacks, like more intense. It just happened out of the blue. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't like places that I was used to, like just with close friends. I just felt like there was a magnifying glass in front of them, like all my senses were just in high alert. And that's when I started looking for alternative methods. Like I went into salt rooms and I did like, learned about crystal healing. I hired a massage therapist, like extra therapy. Like I did all the things because I didn't want to get on medication. And it had got so bad that I couldn't even leave my room without being visibly shaky. So I had to go on disability. And my job back then, I was working in the software team for a government contractor. And they were really amazing, the team supporting me through that while I was out. So I'll always be grateful for that. And that's what got me to learning about like my dreams, because my dreams, I was only sleeping like 2 to 3 hours and would wake up like just jolted. Like I was so anxious all the time. And I did develop agoraphobia where I didn't leave my home for a year.
Mm.
And so that's when I was like, well, my dreams, these nightmares are recurring. I'm having the same nightmare. What is it trying to tell me? And that's when I started just diving into it and the dream started shifting. It didn't like stop completely. It just became more like problem solving and more like, oh, okay, like we can try this and we can do that. And it became a little bit more fun. And then the dream ended with like a really positive closure. So I
Mm-hmm.
find that very interesting. My clients too will see that transition of the subconscious just like shifting the story. And then I started reverse engineering dreams where I'm like, okay, if this is the anxiety piece, how can we shift it, actually program the dream to rewrite the story that's keeping us anxious or blocked in our business.
Mm.
And throughout that, that's when I took yoga teacher training, crystal healing, tarot reader. I became an astrologer. I did all the things 'cause
Yeah.
I'm such a big nerd. And that's when I started finding that people were like, oh, but the tech piece is what I can't. Like, I don't even know how to start this account or anything. And I'm like, oh, well, that's my background. Like, I can help you. Even
Yeah.
my teachers started hiring me to do their tech and to help them in the background. So that's where this, like, both worlds. I quit my job. I've been doing dream interpretation for 10 years. And in the background, I was helping people with their businesses, specifically wellness and transformation coaches. And that's when I'm like, okay, there's a pivot now. Let's go all in on the helping other wellness entrepreneurs to create this ripple effect. And yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, I totally see that. Especially like the idea of like not wanting to leave your house and just I think for me, because I feel like sometimes I could get anxiety that makes me not want to interact with people, not want to do anything. But when I really dissect it, I think it's almost like a call for me to meet me on a different level, on a deeper level, like almost like I I'm I'm sick of interacting with everybody outside of me and I want to interact with me. Like I want to get to know me more. So it's sounding like you went on like a deep inner journey of like figuring you out and your soul and what was going on with you. So did you uncover what the core of your anxiety was or is? Do you know where that roots in?
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, the type of dreams that I was having was showing that I was kind of holding on to responsibilities that weren't my own, like just other people's emotions. I was just like holding on to it. And it reflected in a dream where I was in somebody else's home and there was a whole bunch of boxes that weren't my own.
Yeah.
And that was the representation of like just holding on to this, like kind of other people's boxes, right? Or baggage that were being
Mhm.
handed on. And I'm referring to in terms of like just feeling guilty for other people's emotions or them trying to put it in on me. So that was kind of the root of it. I
Mhm.
also didn't know anything about self-care. I've always been kind of like a workaholic, bring work home. And yeah, working from home it brings a little bit of that struggle. So I'm like a type A person in recovery,
Yeah.
trying to like be more in the flow. But yeah, it's definitely gotten better. And this was the path that I needed to take because I did enjoy engineering, but my calling, the thing that I can talk about every single day, even if it's not like, in one of my programs, is the dreams and helping people with their energy and sharing their message out there. So yeah, and to kind of put like a nice closure to that whole journey, last year I finally traveled. I was afraid of flying, and that was something that
Mm,
every time I would book a flight, I would like cancel it and like, okay, I'm not ready
mm,
yet. I started 2 years ago with going with my boyfriend on a road trip, and then last year I took the longest flight. I even ended up having to come by myself, which somebody, with agoraphobia, I never thought that that would be an option for me again. And I was able to visit, our sisters out there. It was like a all day trip, and I'm like, okay, it was difficult. I'm not going to say I was just like, oh my god, I'm healed, and I just went. It was difficult, but the tools that I gathered along the way and my dreams were showing me that I was ready this time. Before I
yeah.
wasn't, and the dreams were showing like fear of missing your flight and like just that anxiety. And now I'm like, wait, this dream is telling me that I can book the flight and I'm going to be okay.
Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Like I love to hear about that progress within the process, and because I know that that's like from your inner work. Like that's you doing the inner work and then seeing the effects of that, seeing the effects of being able to like dig deep inside of you. I think like what's coming up for me is that there's like crossover between like your work and my work, being like hypnotherapy journeys. We work with the subconscious mind, and a lot of the journeys will be revealing similar things that happen in your dreams, because it's almost like when you're in trance, you go into that dream state, you go into that state of deep relaxation. And what I find fascinating in all of these journeys is that they're just stories, right? They're just stories, they're just essentially dreams, like stories. They're images and things, and we create these certain stories in our minds that block us or free us, or they do different things. So when you're looking for these like limiting beliefs, I could see how a certain dream or a certain story could completely block you, or block your business, block you from growing, block you from expanding in your social circles or your relationships. How just one dream, a scary dream, could stop you from doing that. But the power in this work is seeing that those dreams are stopping us, and then being able to shift it, then being able to look at it different. So I could imagine that, from that perspective. So we do that in hypnotherapy, where we kind of change it from the subconscious mind. So it sounds like it's very similar, that you kind of just change the dream. Like, how is this stopping me? And instead, can we dream different? Is that?
Yeah, and I love that you mentioned that. Yes, because I see this, and as you were talking, I'm thinking of like, I've only had one experience with hypnotherapy, so I'm like so excited to connect with you. And I don't remember what the dream was exactly, but I do remember that after the session, I was having really intense dreams. And so I feel like they can go hand in hand and complement each other in a way where sometimes people don't know exactly what what is causing their anxieties or their blocks. They don't know what it is, right? That's where I help people with the dreams, right? Let's interpret it and get what the actual story is. And then working with you in the hypnotherapy, now we have what the story is. Let's work on it together,
Mhm.
with this dual, maybe fast path, right? The dreams while you're sleeping, it's going to quiet your conscious mind so that your subconscious can speak, and then get that message and really work with it with you and the hypnotherapy that you do. So I love that.
Yeah, I totally see it. Like I see it as you're explaining it, where I'm like, there's so much power in just knowing, and like you said, interpreting and being in that space of really just being aware of how these things are controlling our life, how these dreams or thoughts or stories are becoming our realities, because we're letting it. But yeah, so I love that. And so this has been your line of how you got here. So now it's, 2026, new year, new new you, new everything. What would you say like you're working on now, or working towards? Like, what's your fun right now?
Yeah, well, right now I'm really focusing on helping other women with their businesses through my what I call funnel chakras framework, where we integrate the chakra system into your business strategy, then
Mm,
identify blocks in your dreams that are stopping you from that next step in your business, and then finally implementing that tech. I know we talked about it before, so I don't know if I just repeated that, but it's like the three I's. And what I see like wellness business is missing, and we need all those parts. It's not just, let's set up a funnel, which if people don't know what a funnel is, it's just an invitation from somebody finding you to then getting to know more about you, and then the invitation to buy from you if it's aligned with them, right? And the whole system is to speak to the right people that you can help. So we bring in that energy element behind it, but it's not just, okay, I'm going to do this intuitively. We need to have some type of container with it. And so that's what my main focus is, really going in on that. I would love to help as many women as possible. In my mind, I'm just thinking like, I'd love to help 100 women, 100 women being able to share their own message, because what I found through the trainings that I've done through yoga and crystal healing and dream interpretation is that everybody is helping like a version of themselves, right? With me, it was anxiety. And I didn't want people to feel as alone as I did when I didn't have the resources. And other people have similar stories, but maybe with other things like addiction or self-doubt or lacking, self-love or depression, things like that. And so if I can help the piece that is blocking people, which is business and tech, and, help
Yeah.
that their messages spread, like that is really what I'm going all in on this year.
That's your strong area. That's the area where you could make an impact there. And I love that. And you pointed to something about like the how alone you could feel in the process. I know for me, I have the habit of wanting to do it alone, like wanting to just figure it out. Like I'll figure it out gene in me. It's just like whatever it is, I'll always figure it out, which is true. But it's been so nice to do this work with other people at this point. So I've been blessed to be in such a beautiful container of friends and family that we are now like healing together and growing together, expanding together. So yeah, you pointed to the alone part of this and how maybe that first thing of just saying like, wouldn't it be nice to do this with someone else, to do this with a community, do this with other people instead of having to just be on your own. So that's I really you pointed to that and I felt that one. What do you think surprised you the most on about your healing journey? Like what do you think did you have something that surprised you?
I mean, the biggest thing was the first thing that I signed up for my healing journey was an online yoga teacher training. In the peak of my anxiety, I did it at home. I'm like, okay, yoga's feeling nice. I was just in a membership. I'm like, it's feeling nice. Let me see how much I could learn. And I literally told myself, there's no way I'm going to teach this. Like, like I even like just laughed at the thought of like getting certified for that. I'm like, I just want to learn more because this seems magical and it's helping me. So it surprised me that it led me here 10 years later, helping other people through different stages of their life and then other businesses. So yeah, I would have never thought that I could do this. And even the first time I was on Zoom, I was like, oh my God, they're gonna call on me. I was literally having a panic attack, not like a cutesy, like, oh my God, I'm shy, like full-blown panic attack. So now that I can just talk to you, and other people from around the world, I'm like, wow, this is amazing. And this is what that taught me. Like, I'm actually grateful for that. In the past, I used to call it my breakdown, but it was actually my breakthrough. And
Mm,
I'm grateful for every step.
yeah, I could definitely feel that of I'm surprised at who the person I've become. Like it, and it's almost like I've known that she was possible. I've known that this was possible in the way back of my mind, but presented so differently. So taking like you talked about the layers and the noise, taking away the layers and dimming all the noise. I've really gotten access to this person who I am today, and I love her so much. I'm so grateful. Talk about gratitude, grateful for overcoming all of the things so that I could reach her. So that's
Yeah.
I'm excited. So I connect with you on that. is there anything that you like doubted? Like what would you say are some of like your doubts that you might have had throughout this healing process?
The biggest one was leaving my high paying job. There would be moments, and I do remember like I posted a video a while back just about my journey, and I had a lot of positive, but then a couple of negative came in, like, oh, why would you leave your job and things like that. And, what I found was that in specific moments where I'm like, oh, should I just go back to engineering and get that paycheck? The next day, somebody would just find me out of the blue before I had all the systems in place that just kind of reassured me, like, okay, hey, no, like the work you're doing is needed and is where I'm supposed to be. Also, if you look at my natal chart, it screams dream interpretation and doing this as a vocation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would be the biggest whenever. And there's so much like noise online that sometimes I'm like, okay, is my little voice being heard? But then somebody reaches out and says like, hey, I like your program. I immediately made these changes and, I'm starting to get engagement. This was a recent message I got. And I'm like, oh, wow. It's like the universe puts these messages to remind me of like, no, just keep going, just keep going. And those doubts, because I'm fully aware now that those doubts are the ones that keep me paralyzed, where it's like, I
Mm,
should be doing this, this, and this, and maybe sharing, my free training and things like that. But it gets so loud that I don't, right?
yeah.
And in terms of what you said for my 2026, aside from helping other women, I also want to like step back and show more from example. So it's easy to be like, okay, let me help you with your business and these are the things to do. But then we step back into our own patterns. So I'm like, okay, no, I'm stepping back and I'm just going to share by example, sharing more my journey, because the main part of this framework is also taking care and tending to the human that's behind the business through like the physical, the wellness, all of that. We wouldn't have a wellness business, right, without our own wellness. So that's important to me too. And just saying, you know what, I'm going to go through my own framework and just share it authentically,
Mhm.
give the highs and lows, share the dreams that I'm having that are showing my limits as well, as opposed to just trying to come across as like, I know all the answers, I figured it out,
Mhm.
and I've never gone back to those. No, not me.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, being real, being authentic, and just coming through as yourself. I think that's most likely what attracted to me to you in the first place, is that I'm like, she's got that. Like she's got that authentic, like just share it as it is, because that's definitely where I'm at. I'm not perfect. I am sharing what I know, and I'm sharing my journey and sharing what I've gone through. And if it helps you, awesome. If it doesn't, awesome. It's okay. It's not the end of the world. And I connect with the people that are meant to see my content and that are meant to see
exactly.
me, and it works for those people. And I really I've acknowledged that I don't need to be anything except for myself. Just continue to be me, continue to show up authentically, continue to show up in my true self, and the right situations and the right people appear. And the proof is there, that like the proof is our connection. The proof is most
Exactly.
of the people in my life. It just happens at this point. So yeah, I love that. Oh my goodness. So we are nearing the end of our time here. As I said that I'm going to honor the integrity of our time. So I just want to thank you. Thank you so much for just being open to this and open to sharing, and letting us see a different side of you, and all the people a different side of you. And yeah, any last words? Anything else you want to share before we end here?
Thank you so much for having me here. I love chatting with you. And just my last thing for those who are trying to grow their own wellness business is just remember that your business is an extension of you. So taking care of yourself first, everything will fall into place. We'll
Mm,
bridge bridge both structure and intuition, and it doesn't have to look like everybody else. That's like the main thing. It doesn't have to,
yes.
just share authentically. Like you said, the right people will find you, and your energy will be louder than any, top
Yeah.
tips you might find online.
So true and so beautiful. And what I will do is drop all of your socials and everything to connect you in the comments, or what is it called? The description. And anything else we forgot, we'll put it in the description. So all right. Well, thank
Perfect.
you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you for joining us today for a soul nourishing episode of Soul Brew, where healing conversations flow as freely as the tea. I hope you found solace, wisdom, and inspiration in our dialogue. And until next time, take a moment to sip slow, breathe deep, and embrace the healing power of connection. Stay tuned for more heartwarming conversations over tea. And until then, may your cup overflow with peace and serenity. Take care.